Greetings, everyone. Caddy Damas here for round number 21. AOR America, the PS4 League. Our last and final round of the season. Here with a heavy heart tonight in the tragic passing of NBA legend Kobe Bryant, only at the age of 41. Him and his daughter and 7 others on a helicopter. It's very unfortunate news today, so on lap number 24, we will be having a lap of silence in his honor. One of the greatest to ever play the game. Anyway, we are here, the last round of the season, here at Interlagos for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Interlagos, of course, named this because it is in between 2 lakes. First out on the track, I believe it was Fatal Experience. No, it is Camden Luca, as per usual. Getting ready to start his first flying lap as he heads into turn 1 into the famous Senna S's. And getting ready down the hill through the Curva do Sol. RC was disqualified from the session. That did not take long. Heading down the Reta Oposta. Down into turn number 4. Down into 4th gear, back up into 5th, going back up the hill into the double right-hander. Actually, triple right-hander with the hard right-hand hairpin here. Slowest corner on the track. Heading back up to the famous corner where in this year's Grand Prix, Alex Albon was booted into the Shadow Realm and lost his chance at a podium. Heading down into essentially the final corner, which is, of course, Joncão. A fun corner name to say. And mad dash down the pit straight. And let's see what kind of time he is going to set for the first man up. It is going to be a 109.5. So that is the current time to beat. Let's see what Fatal Experience can do. Most people on the sauce, a few on the mediums, and of course Janet on the hard tires because he is a man that enjoys the reverse strategy option. Make sure I do have audio. Yes, I do. That is good. Anyway, let's see what Fatal Experience and the Ferrari can do. DRS is open and dash up to the line. This is not going to be a great time. May have had an issue somewhere along the way. Carusi going to the top in the Mercedes with a 108.6, almost a full second faster than Camden Luca. Anyone else in the pits? JFD out there on a hot lap right now, so we'll follow him as it looks like he is going around Joncão and heading down the pit straight. DRS will open up, and let's see what kind of time JFD. This looks like it's going to be around a 110. Yeah, 109.9. So puts him currently in 3rd. Link Tick, his teammate, in 4th at the moment. Looks like Beck is on a hot lap. A little bit of a lock up there into the left-hander just before Joncão, or actually that was Joncão, I believe. Ooh, runs very wide. Must have saw some shiny treasure over on the right side as he heads into the pits. Looks like JFD might be going, he's got the battery turned down. I don't know if he's pushing on this lap or not. Probably not. Only man in the top 5 right now, or only one who has set a time with those medium tires at 109.9. Not a bad time on those tires, about 1.3 seconds off the time of Carusi in the Mercedes. It's like Aleti is getting ready to start his lap. Let's see where Janet is on the track. He is behind Aleti. Everyone else in the pits. RC, of course, disqualified. Fuzz in the chat. Welcome, Fuzz. Your Monday night teammate going for a little last to first challenge, it looks like, this evening. And so Aleti looks like he'll be the next one to cross the line, unless JFD is pushing on this lap. Kind of hard to tell because he does have the battery turned down. But we'll go on board with Letty. Gets ready to cross the line, heading into turn 1 and down into the Senna S's. One of the best tracks on the calendar here. Very tough track to pass, only a few passing opportunities. It's like Camden Luca coming out of the pits there. We'll see what kind of time the Racing Point can put on the board. Can he challenge Carusi's 108.6 as he heads into turns 6, 7, and now 8. I believe that's the right numbers. Don't hold me to it. Heading back up the hill towards what is now known as Alex Albon Corner, in my opinion. And down the hill heading towards Juncal. Very important to get a good exit out of this corner. That will build up the speed. That can save you. It can cost you a few tenths, or you can make up a few tenths by getting a good exit. Staying as far to the left side as he dares, keeping it a straight line, and he sets a 109.0, good enough for second at the moment. Janet on the hard tires, a 111.3. See, it looks like Beck is going to try to set a time this time. Yeah. As he's heading to the hairpin right-hander. Very easy to get on the gas a little too early coming out of that corner and run a bit wide. Very slow corner as Beck seems to want to do a lot of mowing of the grass this evening. Either that or he sees a lot of shiny things. But nonetheless, he is continuing on, this time into Juncal. He gets a nice exit out of there on the power, nice and early. So we'll see what kind of time the man in the Red Bull can set. As he, never mind, he is heading into the pits. So Porchy Dude does not come out. Blend Machine is on a out lap. Phil had set a time of 111.0. They are all chasing the Mercedes of Carusi at the top. Only 12 drivers here this evening, so it's unfortunate that we don't have more than that, as Carusi sets at 108.4 to extend that gap at the front. Now it is about 6 tenths. Camden Lucas setting a 109.0.11, so just ahead of Letty, his rival all season. They have had quite a battle. Camden Luca, of course, our drivers' champion this year in Season 3. Let's see what Blend Machine is going to do. We'll go right on the onboard action here so you can see what he sees as he heads down into Turn 1, braking just in front of that 50-meter board. Coming down through the Senna S's, taking as much curb as you dare through the Curva del Sol. He's going down to 0, so I'm guessing that lap was invalidated. It did look like he had all 4 wheels off the track there for just a moment, and I think that was just enough. So we'll go on board here with JFD and see if he can get it right. You see 2 wheels on the curb. This lap is so far good through the Curva del Sol and heading down the Retta Opasta and down into turn 4. Took that pretty nicely. Maybe took a little too much curb on the inside. Braking right around that 50-meter board. Down into 5th gear. Down into 2nd for the hard hairpin right. And keep it in 3rd. Now he goes down into 2nd to get the bite, but quickly back up to 3rd. Probably down into 3rd for this corner. No, again, down it. All the way down into 1st. That was interesting. Really looking for the bite on that front end. He heads down into Juncal, braking just in front of that 50-meter board, right around 70, 75 meters out. Trying to get a good exit as he makes a mad dash towards the line. And this looks like this might be a fairly decent time here. Looks like he might be up on his delta. Yes, a 108.55. Good enough for second. But he did have to switch to those soft tires to get that lap in. Letty out on another lap. Let's see, Beck's 3rd time is a charm, perhaps, here. As He just is heading down the Reta Oposta and into the Sada del Lago. These corners, I'm not sure if I'm actually pronouncing them right, but I will try my best. I'm going to try these next two. Ooh, a big lockup on that front right, and he really has to fight to keep the back end from going around. That is going to cost him some valuable time. 7 minutes left here in this qualifying session. We'll keep on board here with the man in the Red Bull and see if he can actually complete a lap and set a time this time. He's kept it away from the grass, so he has not seen any shiny objects to go chasing after. Not quite close enough to pick up any of that slipstream, but he's making a dash to the line, and it is going to be a time of a 1:09.2. Yeah, Beck, you know, he's practicing for some drifting. Whoa, Nelly. He saw a shiny object on the right side, and he decided to go see what it was. See, we have not ridden on board yet with Link Tick, so we'll give Link Tick some screen time since we are down to 11. That Porchy dude sets a 1:09.8, good enough for 7th right now. Let's see what the Renault of Link Tick can do. Can he improve on that one? Oh, he's on his outlap. Who else do we have? Who else do we have? Cruzy's on a hot lap here, so... Yeah, I believe he got that treasure map from Biga, so he is off in the grass again on that right side. We saw that briefly in the screen, but yeah, he is definitely searching for some Brazilian treasure here this evening in the grassy areas. Either that or he has been hired to do their landscaping. Fatal Experience gets out of the way nicely, so we'll see if Carusi can improve on the time. It is going to be awfully close as he dashes up to the line. I don't think he's going to improve. Yes, he does, briefly. 1:08.3, so Aleti in second with a 1:08.6. JFD right now in third, 1:08.8. And Camden Luca in the 1:09s. Looks like he is down on 0 battery, so I don't think that lap is going to count. Right on board here with that Porchy dude and see what he can do. He just goes through the Curva del Sol and heading down the Reta Oposta right now. Let's have the batteries running a bit low on batteries, so I don't know if he's going to have enough to improve on his previous time. Who else do we have going around right now? Anybody Fatal Experience who's down in 0 battery, so I'm guessing this lap has been invalidated. Phil's in the pits. Anybody flying around here on hot lap? Well, possibly Camden Luca has the battery still turned up, so he may still be going for it. Trying to improve on that 1:09.0. Got some challenge in the last few weeks, but it has come just a little too late. The championship has already been decided a couple of weeks ago. Again, this is our final race of the season. We did have Abu Dhabi back in October due to the conflict with the Super Bowl next Sunday, so as it should be in F1, I believe this should be the final race of the season. Seems much more exciting than Abu Dhabi, if you ask me. Let's see if Camden is actually going to set another hot lap. Looks like he is fighting that car a bit as it is squirming back and forth on him. Is he going to stay out? It looks like he is. Is he going to be able to improve just slightly? A 1:08.82. So he goes just ahead of JFD, who is still in the pits. 3 minutes to go. Every time I ride on board with Beck, he decides to go treasure hunting. So we give him a bit of a break. Let's see what Fatal Experience can do. Can he improve on the 1:10.1? He does have the battery turned up, hitting 205 miles an hour, 6.7. As he does improve on his time up to 7th, and then he saw some treasure that he wanted to go see. There's a lot of treasure hunting this evening here at Brazil. As Beck is coming into the pits, he did not find any treasure. So anyone, Letty's heading out, Cruzy's still in the pits, Phil's still in the pits. Jennett out here on the mediums. He has abandoned those hard tires, so let's see what he can do. He is taking some interesting lines through the first part of Sector 2. See if he can recover and improve on that 109.9, which I believe was set on the hard tires. He gets ready to head up to Zhangkao, one of the most fun corner names to say. Gets on the power nicely. And let's see what he can do. He's going to be close, but I think he is going to be able to improve on his time. Yes, he does, a 109.0. Good enough currently for 5th. So pretty tight at the top, but it is Carusi leading the way with a 108.3 as we have 1 minute and 15 seconds left. I'm not sure Carusi's going to have enough time to get around. He's going to have to push it a little bit. I think he's actually going to cross the line just in time. Letty, let's see if he can improve on his time. He is running into a bit of traffic that is out there on their outlaps right now. Let's hope that does not affect him too much. Gets all the way over to the left side to take a better angle into the 3 right-handers. Looks like he is going to catch up onto the back of that Porchy dude. We have not ridden on board yet with Porchy, so we'll ride on board, give Porchy a little bit of screen time here, and let's see what the Toro Rosso can do. What kind of time can Porchy set? Can he improve on the 109.6? This is the apex just a little bit. Runs a little wide as we are getting down the final seconds of the last qualifying session of the season. As he sets, he did not improve. Almost looked like he had let off the gas momentarily. Letty sets a 108.6 to Carusi. Oh, Carusi, I think he crossed the line, but that is going to be it. Wind Machine looks, oh, is on board with Beckett. He just misses Carusi. His car was out of control a bit. Porchy dude saw some treasure and decides to get out of the way. Beck looks like he will be the last man to cross the line here this evening. I got you, Fuzz. Let's see what he can do. Hopefully he doesn't let you down. And once again, he starts losing that back end going into the hairpin right-hander. That's definitely going to cost him some time right there. He looks like he is having trouble hanging on to that back end in that corner. There are no drift points in F1. Letty stays out of the way as he heads up to Zhangkao. And you get on the power nice and early, and it looks like he does. Is he going to be able to improve on his 109.2? Is he going to be able to challenge Carusi for the top spot? Be the last man out here that could do it. I don't think he's going to be able to do it, though. He does improve, but not by much. I think that drifting in the hairpin is what is costing him all his lap time. Yeah, that's what I thought, too. I think he's just getting down one gear too many, and he's just losing that back end. It's very easy to do, especially if you're on a controller. You just forget how many times you're hitting the button. So I think that is going to do it as Porchy Dude comes into the pits, and that is going to be the qualifying session done and dusted. Last qualifying of the season, and that is it. And it is Carusi in the Mercedes taking pole position, followed by Letty in the Racing Point, and then Camden Luca in the Williams. Everyone with the exception of Jennett in the top 10 will be starting on those soft tires. RC and WV Phil will have free choice of tires in 11th and 12th. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of strategy they do. Can RC come from the back of the grid and perhaps take home a podium in the last race of the season? We will find out shortly. Will there be calamity going into turn 1? All this and more. Just have to stay tuned and see what happens. But it is Carusi on top. Letty in the Racing Point, Camden Luca in the Williams, JFD in the Renault, Blinn Machine in the Racing Point, the Toro Rosso of Ginnett in 6th, Beck in the Red Bull in 7th, Porchy Dude in the other Toro Rosso in 8th, Fatal Experience in the Ferrari in 9th, Link Tick in the other Renault in 10th, WV Phil in the Haas in 11th, and rounding out the grid is RC in the McLaren in 12th. As we count down the clock and get ready to start the last race of the season. 21 races in. I want to thank everyone who has tuned in and week out to listen to me babble on watching these guys race. We have had some great races over the course of the season. The one that sticks out the most to me is actually race number 3 at China. Was, in my opinion, one of the most exciting races of the year. So, you know, if you have not seen that race, I would suggest you go back and watch that replay, because that was a finish for the ages. So we will see what happens here in 10 seconds as everyone is getting ready to take the grid for the final formation lap of the year. Unfortunately, only 12 drivers in the grid this evening. It always seems to be the case. As the season goes on, you get less and less people. It is unfortunate to see, but at least we have 12 here this evening. So, who will take home the race win, the last race of the season? Will it be this man in pole position, Carusi, who has shown some great pace in the second half of the season since he came into the league? Or will it be this man, Letty? Will he be showing off for his girlfriend, who is sitting there watching, I'm sure, intently? Or will it be our championship winner, Camden Luca in the Williams? Perhaps JFD in the Renault could be due for a victory. A man, in my opinion, who is probably one of the most improved drivers I've seen over the course of the season. Has really come on strong in the second half. Could it be Blinn Machine in the Racing Point? He has shown a lot of promise this season. Could it be Ginnett, the man known for the reverse strategies all season? I'm not sure I've ever seen him qualify on the softest tires unless it was going to rain and they were going to start on inters. Could it be Beck, the man who looked for treasure most of qualifying? Or perhaps that Porchy Dude in the Toro Rosso, who has shown some definite potential here in the last few races. Perhaps it could be the Ferrari of Fatal Experience, or the other Renault of Linked Tick. Could it be the Dark Horse in 11th, the Nats fan himself, WV Phil? Or perhaps the man going for the last to first challenge this evening, RC, our trusted coordinator of the league, who has done a fantastic job. We will find out in 36 laps as they take their positions on the grid one last time in this season. Everyone is lining up, and we should get the lights coming on any moment. The Brazilian fans on their feet in the background, they are cheering on their favorite drivers. We wait for the lights to come on, and here they come. 2, 3, and that's all we're going to get. And they are out. A bit long of a hold, but who will get the best start going down into turn 1? It looks like Carusi is going to lead the way. A little side-by-side action there in the background. JFD looks like he was very unfortunate going into that first corner, as he lost quite a few positions, as we have a bit of a battle here. Look like Link Tick and I believe that was Beck going side by side down into turn 4, as it looks like Beck has come out on top in that one. JFD all the way back down to the back of the pack, and I'm sure he has lost, yes, at least his front right end plate, so he is going to have to come in as RC makes a move on Phil to get himself up inside the top 10 and start trying to chase down Fatal Experience in the Ferrari in front of him. Carusi already has a 1 second gap to Letty in second. Camden Luca trying to get by his championship rival all season. Excuse me. I went down the wrong pipe. We have a mad dash down into turn 1. I didn't see any moves being made, though. See, RC is all over the back of Fatal Experience here. And we will see if he can make a move and gain another position. Perhaps try to chase it down back. He is not quite close enough, although we're not going to be able to see it because they want to show the rear wing. Thank you very much. Yes, they can. We have some people that do use assists in this league. This is kind of a mixed league. So we got some non-assist users and some using assists. So it is a pretty decent mix, to be honest with you. I'd say probably about half and half. Camden Lucas still looking for a way by Aletti. Sure if he is going to be close enough to get the move done, but we will have, as we have a bit of a yellow flag back in sector 2 and 3. It looked like Phil lost a position. He may have had a moment. DRS is enabled, and what is going on with showing me the rear wing tonight? I would really appreciate it if they did not. Pull up a little bit of detail real quick. Let's hide that. There we go. Camden Luca not quite close enough to make a move. This man right here on the medium tires. That Porchy dude, he must have set his fastest. That's why he let off the gas at the end. He had set his fastest time on the mediums, so very smart of him. That would explain why he let off the gas. RC still looking for a way by Fatal Experience. Has not been able to get that move done. Beck is behind that Porchy dude. He has lost a little bit of time. He needs to get back up within a second so he can take advantage of DRS as they get ready to head into Zhangkao. Can Camden Luca take advantage of the DRS that is now enabled and perhaps get by the racing point of Aletti going down into turn 1? Really one of your better overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and then again into turn 4. He is not going to be close enough on this occasion. Perhaps he can get a good exit out of the Curva del Sol and maybe make a move going down the Reta Opposta. We will see as what is going on with them just showing the rear wing cam this evening. That is really, really annoying. Jinnit putting some pressure on the other racing point of Blend Machine. As Fatal did lose a couple places while I was watching that battle. Thank you, Fuzz. I noticed that now. So that does promote RC up into 8th. He does have a little bit of clean air in front of him to try to chase down the Red Bull of Beck, who must have got all his treasure hunting out of the way in qualifying because he is keeping it on the tarmac quite nicely right now. He was going to be close enough to be able to make a move going down the straight. Perhaps Jinnit may be able to make a move. Yeah, he is going backwards, unfortunately, right now. Camden Luca getting awfully close to Aletti. We'll keep an eye on that gap as well. It looks like he is a lot closer. Perhaps got maybe a better exit coming out of the Curva del Sol. Where's Aletti going to defend, if he is going to defend? Luca closing up in the braking zone, but not quite close enough, as in the background, Jinnit does get that move done on Blend Machine, so he is up into 4th and looking to chase down a podium position. Out there on those mediums, this could give him a good advantage. He can go longer into the race. We'll see how long he can make these tires last. And of course, if you are just joining us, as I said at the beginning of the race, lap number 24 will be a lap of silence in honor of Kobe Bryant, who unfortunately passed away today, himself and his daughter, along with 7 others, in a tragic helicopter accident in California. One of the greatest NBA players of all time. So we will be honoring him by having a moment of silence during that lap. But right now, we are focused on some racing. Camden Lucas still cannot use DRS to get past Aletti, who is staying ahead of him nicely. Blend Machine not really wanting to give up that position too easily to Jinnit. He is keeping him honest and trying to catch back up and get past that Toro Rosso. And then you have the battle between that Porchy dude and Beck. RC has not been able to make up too much time on them. JFD, despite missing part of his end plate on the right side, is still hanging in there in 9th place right now. So it looks like he is going to stay out instead of opting for the early pit stop. Fatal Experience is back in 10th with WV Phil right behind. Link Tick has lost some positions, unfortunately. He is back down in 12th. But is this man, Carusi, leading the way, a 2.6 second gap back to the racing point of Aletti, who is still being hounded by the Williams of Camden Luca. Camden still has not been able to find a way by. I don't think he's been close enough to even attempt a move yet. But the more that these two kind of battle each other, the better it is for these guys behind, which is Jinnit and Blend Machine, to perhaps close up that gap and make it a four-horse race for those last two podium positions. The question is, can Jinnit close up enough on these tires? How long will the soft tires last these guys? Will they start going off a cliff? JFD going into the pits finally. I think he had enough of that front wing. Was not doing him any favors. RC almost 4 seconds behind Beck. But he is on the medium tires. Beck is really closing up to the Toro Rosso of that one Porchy dude. And he may be able to make a move going down the straight with the help of DRS, provided he gets a good exit out of Zhongkao. As it looks like they both got a pretty good exit. Not sure if Beck is going to be close enough to be able to make the move, but we shall find out. He is gaining quite a bit, and he goes to the inside. It looks like he is going to get this move done pretty easily here. And yes, he does, down into turn 1 as Blend Machine picks himself up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. That is not going to help. Camden Lucas lost a few tenths to Aletti. Jinnit still not able to close up that gap, still about 1.3 seconds. He's been maintaining that gap to the cars in front for a minute now. Blend Machine still keeping him honest, though. Less than a second behind, about half a second behind. So definitely within striking distance if Jinnit decides to make a mistake somewhere. And Porchy Dude's trying to stay within DRS range of Beck in front of him. RC 3.6 seconds behind them. Phil is being pressured by Fatal Experience in the Ferrari right now. Let's see if the Ferrari can make a move and gain himself an extra point as they go through the last few twisty corners down into Zhongkao. Can Fatal use the DRS advantage to get by the Haas? We'll keep an eye on some of the other gaps in front to see if any moves are about to be made. But why not give the guys here a little bit of screen time as they are battling it out? Ferrari engine v Ferrari engine. Fatal not quite close enough to be able to make that move into turn 1. Now he's got to get a good exit coming out of the Curva del Sol and perhaps take advantage of the DRS, but it looks like he has fallen a little bit behind Phil. And I don't think he is going to be able to be close enough to make that move. No, he is not. And that is really your two best passing opportunities on this track unless somebody makes a mistake, as the rest of the track is quite tight and would take a mighty lunge, as we saw from Lewis Hamilton in the actual Brazilian Grand Prix this year. He made that lunge, and in the end, that cost him. That gave Pierre Gasly second, and eventually Carlos Sainz third place in the first podium for McLaren in a long, long time. But Camden Lucas still hanging behind Aletti. This might be saving a bit of fuel or a bit of battery and deciding not to battle him right now. Let's take a quick look. Let's pull up some more data to see their battery life. Now, Camden has used quite a bit of battery. As Ginnett is saving some of his. Yeah, Letty's actually been able to save a good amount of battery, putting it down into 0 in Sector 2, where you don't need as much. Camden Luca, trying to get past, has used up a lot of his. So that is why Letty's able to stay in front. He can use that battery to defend that position down the straights and give himself that little extra power. As Fatal Experience did get by Phil. Phil trying to stay within DRS range. And we have the 2 Renaults right now at the back. But I have a feeling that won't be for too long, knowing the pace of JFD. I'm sure he will start closing up some positions in a hurry. Although he may have to make this a 2-stop race now, coming in that early. He is probably going to have to go on to another set of sauce at the end. Cruzy at the front, though, just cruising around. He has got that gap up to 3.2 seconds. Camden Luca and Letty still battling for second and third. And Ginnett not able to close up that gap on either one of them. Still just a hair over 1.3 seconds, but he has increased the gap behind him from Blend Machine, who is now out of DRS range. Back another 2 seconds behind them. That Porchy dude, 2.5. RC is closing up that gap slowly, a few tenths a lap it looks like, on the Toro Rosso in front of him, who was also on the medium tires. So it is a medium tire battle here. I have a feeling these guys will probably try to push the soft tires to about lap maybe 15, and then go on to a set of mediums at the end, but we shall see. As Camden Luca is getting awfully close once again to a Letty in front of him. Your brother won the championship. Oh, well, that's good. Is your brother Camden Luca, or is he in a different league? As if this is your brother, he's putting some pressure right now on a Letty once again. But Letty does have a lot of battery to defend with going down those straights, and I think that's what's costing him at the moment. JFD has picked up a couple positions. Oh, well, that's good. Well, your brother's an awfully quick driver. It's good to have you in here. Ooh, as Ginnett is starting to close up the gap now. He has got it just over 1 second, so he is almost within DRS range of Camden. And perhaps might be looking to make a move here in the next couple laps. He is saving battery right now and just using the advantage of slipstream. He is really closing up to that Williams now. He is starting to push it a little bit, as perhaps the soft tires are starting to lose their life. And Luca going all the way over to the left side to try to defend, as he is now being pressured by that Toro Rosso. This is going to allow a Letty in front of him to build up a little bit of a gap, which is now 1.5 seconds. So this battling behind has allowed the Racing Point to get out of DRS range of the Williams. So perhaps now Letty will be able to pull away a little bit and won't have to defend quite as hard and keep looking in his mirror, as Ginnett looks like he might be lining up a move here, looking for a good exit coming out of Zhengkao. I think Camden got a slightly better one, but with the help of DRS, let's see if he can perhaps make a move into turn 1. Camden going to the left side to defend. I'm trying to get back onto the racing line. Cameraman, stay with me, as Ginnett looks down the inside into turn 1. And indeed, he gets that move done. Runs a little bit wide coming through the Senna S's. Camden looking for the switchback. He has DRS now. Ginnett defending well in the middle of the track. Just parked the bus. Camden Luca had no place to go, and he does lose the position at the moment. So Jinnit in the Toro Rosso up into third. We'll see if Camden has anything to fight back with. RC slowly closing that gap up to the Toro Rosso in front of him. He is still 1.7 seconds behind, but he has brought the gap down by about 2 seconds in the last 10 laps or so. So, 10th by 10th per lap, he is slowly getting closer to the Toro Rosso of that one Porchy dude. JFD now up into 10th as Fatal Experiences come in and put on a fresh set of soft tires. I'm guessing he will have to make one more pit stop. Actually, I know he will have to make one more pit stop, as that Porchy dude saw he was getting reeled in by RC and decides to come into the pits quite early for those medium tires before a lot of the soft tire runners. So that is very interesting, and he goes on to a set of softs. This could be a bold strategy if he can make it pay off. But I'm not sure that those softs are going to make it all the way to the end of the race, at least in very good condition, but we shall see. Your teammates calling for you to push, RC. Close up onto the back of Beck. That's what he wants to see. We want to see you finish this season strong. We want to see everybody finish the season strong here. WV Phil coming into the pits for a set of hard, so we do have a couple hard tire runners out there. WV Phil and Link Tick going hard tires to the end of the race. None of the top runners on the softs, except for now Camden Luca coming into the pits. He is going for that undercut, as everyone else says they're going to stay out. RC is going to get by as well. Quite a long pit exit here, as it takes a minute to get out of these pits and up to speed. So where will Camden Luca end up coming out? He will be ahead of that Porchy dude, it looks like, and probably about 10 seconds, maybe, yeah, close to 10 seconds behind RC, who thought he saw some treasure on the right side, but then realized it was not. It was just a penny, and has come back onto the track. As Blend Machine picks up another 3-second penalty. That is at least 6 seconds of penalties. I have not seen many names pop up, but his name is one of them I've seen. Jinnit trying to close that gap up in front of him to get closer to Aletti. Is Carusi going to come into the pits this lap? No, he is not. Is Aletti going to come into the pits this lap? No, he is not. So the top runner staying out right now as Blend Machine does come into the pits for a fresh set of tires, followed by Beck. That is going to promote RC up 2 positions at the moment. So from 12th on the grid, he will be, at least for a moment, up to 4th. That'll make Fuzz very happy to see. But right now, Jinnit, probably one of the stronger looking drivers on the track right now. With those medium tires, he is showing a lot of pace and is really catching up to the drivers in front of him for the most part. He has closed up some gaps, and he could be a man to watch, as he will come in probably about lap 21, I would say, maybe 22, to get a set of soft tires to take him to the end. Everyone else looks like they are coming out on mediums. That Porchy dude picks up a 3-second penalty. As Aletti does come into the pits. Carusi, the only man in front who has not stopped yet, other than the medium tire runners. Is RC going to be able to get by Aletti? Yes, he will. So he will be briefly up into 3rd. And perhaps he is another one to watch out for come the end on those soft tires. He is looking awfully consistent, with the exception of going after the penny on the last lap. As we have a brief yellow flag in Sector 2. Any indication as to what that is for? And oh, unfortunately, that is Phil. Phil looks like he is out of this race. We're right on board with Carusi as he is going through Sector 2. We're finishing up Sector 2. Anybody in Sector 2 right now that we can watch and see if we see a stricken Haas anywhere? That may have already disappeared off the track, but unfortunately that is going to do it for the season for Phil, as he is our first DNF this evening. Carusi coming into the pits for a fresh set of medium tires. The Mercedes crew at the ready, getting ready to put them on, and that was impressive. The tire never moved. Gotta love the animations. Where is RC in all of this? He is coming down into turn 1 right now. It's going to be close on the pit exit, and it looks like he is going to get in front momentarily at least. So starting in 12th, he has got himself up at least briefly into second place, but he does have a very fast Carusi behind him on a fresh set of medium tires, and I don't think Carusi is going to waste much time. He's got to get this move done as quickly as possible. Going into this sector right here, he's not going to be able to get it done. He is going to have to wait for the DRS section, which could cost him a little bit of time in the end, depending on how many laps it takes him to get by the McLaren, which could be good for Jinnit. He might be able to stretch out that gap a little bit at the front. Jinnit's going to win it. That's the call from Fuzz in the chat. I tell you, I like Jinnit on many races. The reverse strategy has looked pretty strong, but Carusi going to the inside, he is going to get that move done on RC. Aleti setting the fastest lap. Oh, if he was 1/100th of a second faster, he would have set straight ones, but it's a 1:11.112. As it looks like that Porchy dude is getting by Beck, who thought he saw some treasure and decided to go for an excursion once again. We've seen that Red Bull. They're really going to have to give that thing a good washing after this race, because it has seen a lot of grass. He attaches a mower to it. He could be doing the Interlagos track a favor by cleaning up some of this grass around here. Right now, no real close battles on track. RC, I have a feeling, will be losing some time to Carusi, who is on those fresh tires. Jinnit, I'm guessing, will probably stay out probably at least another couple laps. I'm going to say probably lap 22, maybe 23 is when we'll see him come in. RC, most likely the same thing. We'll have to see where RC emerges. These gaps aren't that spread out right now, so I'm guessing he is going to come out around probably behind Beck, maybe behind JFD. It'll be close. But remember, I believe JFD is going to have to make one more pit stop. I'm not sure if he can make those mediums last all the way to the end. But I've been wrong about that kind of thing before, so we shall see. Oh, and that must have been where Phil was out. I saw some debris over on the left side. Probably a little snap of oversteer coming out of turns 4 and 5 is easy to have happen. Aleti starting to put a little bit of pressure here, closing up that gap on RC in front of them. Let's see if they're going to be kind and give me any kind of good broadcast views. We'll give it a moment, and we'll find out. But 1.188, I should call it 1.1 now. So he is closing up within DRS range. If he can get just a little bit closer, he'll be able to take advantage of about an extra 7 miles an hour with the help of DRS, and perhaps can make a move on the McLaren. Jinnit going into the pits at the end of lap number 21. So is RC, so we shall see where they come out. Jinnit coming out of the pits right now. Camden Luca going around the first corner. I think Camden Luca's going to be out just in front of him. It's going to be awfully close, a mad dash. But Jinnit is going to be awfully quick out there on those fresh, soft tires. And RC comes out just behind JFD, but again, on those fresh tires, he is going to be awfully quick. Yeah, it's unfortunate, Phil. Sorry you didn't finish the last race, my friend, but a good season nonetheless. Jinnett has closed up that gap now to Camden Luca on those fresh tires. That Toro Rosso is looking mighty strong as we just start lap 23. Reminder that the next lap will be a lap of silence in honor of the Black Mamba himself, Kobe Bryant. But Jinnett does get the move done and back up into the podium positions, and now he can set his sights on the racing point ahead of him. Much fresher, softer tires. Let's see how this is going to play out. Can Jinnett close up and get past Oletti and then perhaps start putting some pressure on Carusi? But it is this man at the front of the pack in the Mercedes. Carusi in complete control of this race at the moment. As Jinnett is, as RC does pick up a penalty, he is closing up that gap on JFD in front of him, who is on old mediums. But RC with a penalty, 3 seconds. We have not seen many safety cars this season, which is not unusual, so 1 moment of silence for lap number 24 in honor of the Black Mamba. Rest in peace. Black Mamba, one of the greatest NBA players, at least of the modern generation. Rest in peace, my friend. As during that lap, Jinnett was able to get by Carusi, and now he has some work to do. 6.6 seconds behind. RC also getting by a JFD, so RC back up into 8th, but does have that 3-second penalty. Blend Machine, who has, I believe, picked up at least 6 seconds worth of penalties, is going to have some work to do to hold on to his position in 6th. When it's all said and done, we'll keep an eye on that gap between RC and Beck, as right now it is 3 seconds. JFD, though, not letting RC really get away. He is on 18-lap-old mediums, and I believe he will be making another pit stop for some fresh soft tires. It won't cost him a position in this race, so I feel like if he can't get by RC, the best thing to do would be to come in and maybe set a fastest lap and get yourself a little bonus point here at the end. Yeah, I know, I'm watching that gap up at the front there. It's under 6.5 seconds now. I'm just going to keep an eye on that and see if he can close that gap down to Carusi in front of him. He is going to have some work to do. He does have 11 laps to do it in, so we shall see. He is going to have to shave off about half a second a lap, roughly, give or take. Carusi picked up a 3-second penalty. Did he now? Take a look at that real quick. I must have missed that. Thank you, Phil. Yes, indeed. That is, that could be a real game changer right there. Although so does Jinnit, now that I look at it. He has a 3-second penalty as well, so essentially they are on even footing right now. So Jinnit is going to have to win it on track at the moment. As that Porchy dude coming in for another pit stop, so that promotes JFD and RC up a position. Jinnit has gotten that gap down under 6 seconds and is perhaps looking to make a move. So he's got to make up about a half a second a lap in order to close that gap down and get by Carusi in the end. And RC right now showing some very good pace as he has been closing up on the Red Bull of Beck here. So we're going to stay on board here with RC and see if perhaps he can make a move and get up into 6th place. JFD has lost a bit of time as they're going through Zhangkao. Not quite close enough for the DRS. I don't believe he's going to be within the detection zone. Perhaps he will be, but I don't believe so. No, indeed. No DRS for him at the moment, but he should have it in the second part going down the Reta Opasta. We'll see if he could take advantage of the DRS and close up that gap and perhaps take another position. The gap between Carusi and Ginnit down to 5.4 seconds, so it has come down in the last couple of laps. Ginnit doing what he needs to do. He's got to be careful not to take out too much life out of those tires before the end of the race. Now that gap almost under 5 seconds. So it's showing the difference between the softs and the mediums. The question is, can he make those softs last on this current pace? Or will Carusi end up having the advantage in the end, being on the medium tires? But RC all over the back of Beck in the Red Bull right now. So that Red Bull is looking in his mirrors. And we'll see if RC can get the move done going down into turn 1, heading towards the Senna S's. With the help of DRS, I think he might be a little bit too far back. We're going to go with the onboard view here and see what RC sees. Going down into turn 1. Not close enough to make the move this time around. Looks like Beck gets a pretty good exit coming out of the Curva del Sol. And I'm not sure if RC is going to be close enough without making a lunge. No, indeed. Closes up. But right now, that is really your two main passing opportunities, turn 1 and turn 4. It's very tough to make a move in this section of the track. You really have to be committed. Lick the stamp and send it, as Danny Rick would say. Jinnit got that gap down to 4.6 seconds in front of him. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's going to take out too much life out of those tires. And he's got 7 laps, 4.6 seconds. Now that is about 0.8 of a second a lap he's going to need. And I just don't think he's going to have it. It's still a good drive from Jinnit. But I don't think he's going to... I agree, Fuzz. I just don't think he'll have enough in the end. I think he's just taking a little too much life out of those tires. RC not quite close enough, but Beck locks up and runs wide heading into the Senna S's, and perhaps this could be the opportunity for RC. Get a better exit coming out of the Curva del Sol with the help of DRS going down the Reta Opasta. He goes to the inside, and I think it looks like he is going to get this move done pretty easily on these softer tires, so good move by RC, putting a little pressure on Beck Beck just locked it up into turn one. Beck not wanting to give up that position too easily as they are side by side heading up the hill. But two does not go into one going up into this section. So Beck wisely backs off. I think that could have ended in disaster for the both of them had he tried it. But now he can't look too far from his mirrors because, as he retires from the session, just as I say that, as he saw something shiny over on the left side, and he went chasing after it, and that is going to do it for Beck. So that means all runners on track, as long as they can finish, will finish in the points this evening. So, unfortunate for both Beck and Phil to be out of this race, but the other 10 runners will at least end up getting points, providing they can finish the race. Jinnit, 3.8 seconds, and I just don't think he's going to have enough left in the tank to be able to get it done. As the Ferrari of Fatal Experience gets out of the way, he actually may be able to use Fatal Experience to pick up some DRS and help himself out a little bit. Not down this section, but perhaps he can get close enough going down into turn one to get in the DRS detection zone and gain that little bit of extra. 3.6 seconds the gap to Carusi. We are on lap number 32 of 36. 5 more laps to go in this season. I want to thank everyone for joining me each and every week. It has been an exciting season. We've had some great races. Haven't seen too many major incidents. A few here and there, but for the most part it has been pretty clean throughout this league. Jinnit doing everything he can in order to try to get up there to be able to put pressure on Carusi, but 3.4 seconds is the gap, and I just don't think he's going to have it. You're welcome, Fuzz. It's been an enjoyable season. As now he is going to pick up DRS from the lapped car, so this will help him out a little bit. 2.6 seconds now the gap. But I just don't think there'll be enough laps left. We will stay on board here because this right now is the best battle we have going on track. All the other gaps are spread out a little bit. Letty in third, Camden Luca running in fourth, Blinn Machine in fifth, RC running in sixth. If he could close up that gap a little bit. Let's take a quick look here at the race director. Oops, the incidents, idiot. Let's see. So let's look. Where did Carusi pick up his penalty? He has a warning. He has one warning, it looks like, after that penalty. So, as does Jinnit. So, looks like they are both on one warning. Oh. Well, that makes it easier. One. Yeah, just the one warning. And I think Jinnit. Yeah, Jinnit's on 2 warnings. So he can't push too much. What is Blinn Machine up to? He has a penalty and a penalty. He has 6 seconds, and I believe RC has 3. Yeah, RC does have 3, so. Unless Carusi makes a big mistake. Jinnit 2.4 seconds, 3 laps. I'm not sure he's going to be able to do it. It's been a valiant effort. But I think second place is where he will end up. Letty 8 seconds behind, so second place should be pretty safe. But it's this man right here who has just been in control of this race. Took pole position, led him through the first corner, and really has not been challenged for that lead in the race at all. He's just been able to drive And Jinnit has put on his best effort here to close up to the Mercedes, but in the end it will not be enough. I don't think this will be like the real-life Grand Prix where we see a Toro Rosso finish ahead of a Mercedes on the podium. But in 2 laps, anything can happen. One lockup from Cruzy, one little run wide, a couple corner cuts, and picks up a penalty. Anything in the last now lap and a half of the season can happen. Is it likely? No, more than not. But things can happen, as we saw in what I say is my favorite race of the year in China, as RC was leading in those very tricky wet conditions, and he lost it with 2 corners to go and lost the lead of the race. But 1.6 seconds now. Jinnit not giving up. Cruzy does have more battery. Jinnit is giving it everything he has as they head into the last lap of the season. Is the Toro Rosso going to have enough? He could crash with 50 feet to go. I saw that. We saw that last week with JFD right before he crossed the line, crashing out. So, like I said, anything can happen. We could have a sudden downpour here at Brazil. That's one thing I'm most disappointed in. We have not had many wet races this season. We had a few at the beginning of the season, but you know, from a commentary point of view, I know they kind of not much fun to drive in, but from a commentary point of view, they are a lot of fun to watch because it gets to be a lot of crazy things happening. But it looks like it is going to be the man in the Mercedes taking home this victory as he goes through the final few corners of this season. We'll ride on board here as he gets ready to head into Zhangkao, which is essentially the last real corner of this track. Everything else is flat out. A good exit. 1.3 seconds the gap. Does not look like Jinnit's going to have enough, as Cruzy is going to come across the line to take home the victory in the final race of the season. Jinnit with a great drive, finishing in second. Looks like Aleti in the Racing Point will take home the final podium position of the season. In third, Camden Luca going to come home in a 4th place, it looks like. Blend Machine should come home in 5th place, followed by RC, who came from the back of the grid all the way up into 6th. And JFD, after that early incident, you got to remember JFD lost part of his front wing on lap number 1 and had to make a slightly earlier than he would have liked pit stop, but making those mediums last 30 laps, which is just impressive to end the season. But that has been our final race of the season here, Season 3 of AOR America, the PS4 League. I want to thank everyone again for joining me throughout the season. It has been a great season, 21 races, ups and downs, different winners, championship battles, constructor battles, and it is this man hoisting the trophy on the top step of the podium, Cruzy taking home the win in Brazil, followed by Jinnit in the Toro Rosso, and Aleti 88 on his home continent, taking home the last podium position. I have been Caddy Damas. I want to thank you for joining me each and every week. Once again, I hope everyone has enjoyed this exciting racing, but it is Cruzy taking home the win, followed by Jinnit, Aleti, Camden Luke in the Williams in 4th, Blend Machine in the other Racing Boy in 5th, RC in the McLaren in 6th, JFD in the Renault in 7th, that Porchy dude in the Toro Rosso in 8th, Fatal Experience in the Ferrari coming home in 9th, and Link Tick rounding out the points in the Renault, Beck and WV Phil, the only non-finishers of the race, in 11th and 12th. But once again, I have been Caddy Damas. Thank you for joining me for this season. Hey, thank you, Phil. And it has been my pleasure to commentate on this league, and hopefully I'll be able to come back and do it again. So, everyone, have a great evening.